I'm at the Austin airport. I'm heading to New York. I'm doing the Today Show tomorrow, which should be fun. On the drive from my house, I got a little note from someone that said the review from the London Times came in. It's not that it wasn't good, it's just the guy really missed what the book was about, what I was trying to do with it, and really what Stoicism is. As I saw this, I was thinking of this line from the Kipling poem where he says, "Can you bear to have your words twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools?" Maybe it'll hurt the book sales. Maybe it won't. Maybe people will think think something or mean something that I don't. I don't control that. I do control whether I let it ruin my mood. And the real thing I'm excited about is that the economy lot at the Austin airport, they sort of rotate it. And anyways, the cheapest possible spot was as close as it could be to the airport. So I'm mostly just excited about that. It is 5:29 a.m. I've got a 7 a.m. call time for the Today Show. I'm gonna try to get a run in before I get ready to go down there. So it's a trade-off between sleep and doing this thing that I need to regulate my emotions, get in the right headspace, get awake, and I'm gonna go for a run in Central Park. Probably no place more fitting to go on a run this morning than through the literary walk in New York City. And as it happens, all three of those women, Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, they're all in the book, in part 2 of the Justice book. The idea of this sort of parade of activists and fighters who are always pushing for the next thing, the next bit of rights. I totally forgot that was there, but I thought that was pretty perfect. And then the other thing I was thinking about this morning is, as I was getting up and didn't really want to get up, Marcus Aurelius says, you know, people who love what they do wear themselves down doing it. And he says that when you wake up in the morning and it's warmer under the covers, you have to say to yourself, is this what I was put here to do? To huddle under the warm blankets? No, you have work to do. You were put here to do something as a human being. Go do that thing. So I've done this book launch thing a number of times now, and there's something inherently selfish about it. You're like, I hope the press comes in, I hope the attention comes in, I hope the sales come in, I hope people like it. But one of the things that struck me as I was writing the book, there's this chapter, and I talk about this guy named Rabbi Harold Kushner, and every day before he would write, he would start by making a small donation. He wanted to start the day with an offering instead of an ask. And so for the launch of the book, I'm doing something similar. I could have written a promo email to Daily Stoic, which goes out to over 1 million people all over the world. I could have done one more thing. Hey, please buy this book. You know, even though everything in the world is crazy, all this stuff's happening, please, please, please do something for me. And instead, what I decided to do is I was gonna make a donation. One of the things that I was really struck by with the book is, like, you know, we think about all these huge problems in the world and we don't think enough about the little bit of difference that we could make. In Camus' The Fall, he talks about this man being plagued by the sense that there was this person who'd fallen into the canals in Amsterdam and he could have saved him. It's shocking the small amount of money it takes to save a person's life in today's world. So what I'm gonna do, and I was talking to my wife about it last night, is I'm going to make a donation. There's a charity called the Malaria Consortium, and you can do it through Giveaway. I was actually sponsored the Daily Stoic podcast before. They give medicine and nets, and you can, for roughly $3,000, which is a lot of money, but for $3,000 you can save a human life in Nigeria. So I'm gonna donate enough money to save 10 people. That's how I wanna start today. I wanna know that however everything goes, if the reviews are bad, if the sales are bad, if the press hit gets canceled on my way there, I did something, like, I had a great day. And and the world is better because of something I did that was in my control, right? We could think about all the things that are outside of our control and focus on those, or we could just try to focus on good we can do in our control. So that's how I'm starting today.
There's me, there's political leaders, other celebs, and world-class athletes.
His books have sold more than 10 million copies in more than 40 languages. We love the title of his newest book. It's called Right Thing, Right Now. Good values, good character, good deeds. Ryan, good morning. We should point out that Carson is a Uber fan.
I'm a practicing believer of Stoicism, which, by the way, the Jerry Seinfeld interview is shining a big light on this idea of Stoicism. And I think before we get to promoting this book, we start talking about good virtues and how to be a great person. You should seed it in the context of explaining to today's show viewers a little bit about Stoicism in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an ancient philosophy that's built around this idea that we don't control what happens, we control how we respond to what happens. Mm-hmm. And so the Stoics say that big, small, good, bad, we always have this opportunity to practice one of the virtues: courage, self-discipline, justice, and wisdom.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking about the climate right now, and I feel like everywhere you look, people are not practicing that, what you're describing.
Yes.
So how do you get that back in people's psyche? Where has that gone?
Yeah, the problem is, like, when we hear this word justice, we think about what's going wrong in the world. We think really big picture instead of thinking about what we control. That's what Stoicism is about. What's up to you and focusing there. And so I think if we stop thinking of justice as something like we get from a judge or a jury from the legal system, but as something we do, we see justice as a verb, not a noun. That's how we do. We want to be the change we want to see in the world, because that's something we actually affect.
One thing I love about Stoicism is this idea that, like, when I was diagnosed with anxiety disorder and things like that, years ago, when I realized, and I think the average human forgets, that we control how we frame something. Mm-hmm. When life throws us a curveball, we don't have to just accept it for what it is. We can make a choice in the moment to how we sort of frame it, and that's part of what you talk about in a lot of your books.
Well, there's something incredible about the Emperor of Rome, Marcus Aurelius, 2,000 years ago, writing in this little journal that survives to us as Meditations, talking about his anxiety and what he's worried about. And then also telling himself, hey, look, you got to be a good person. You got to work for other people. You got to be honest. You got to be decent. So this is a really timeless thing. We're all we know what we should be. And then the struggle is to get there in our day-to-day behavior.
Don't forget to get this book. It's a good one. It's called The Right Thing, Right Now. You can find it on our website, today.com/book.
Good to see you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, Sid, over to you.
Just ahead, guys. That was so.
Thank you. No, you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Nice work,
Carson was right.
Thank you for helping me.
Of course.
So I just did the Today Show. I had 4 minutes on live television. But going into that, there was, I think, 3 calls with the producer. The publicist had multiple calls. There was multiple emails. They sort of break down every part of it that you're going to do. But they tell you, hey, they're known for going off script, so also be ready. There's an Eisenhower line that's like, plans are everything, but plans are worthless. And that's basically what happened, because the first question, Carson, who actually follows the Daily Stoic, just goes in a totally different direction. So from the jump, all the prep goes immediately out the window, and we just had to improvise it. And so when we think of Stoicism as this idea for resiliency, it's the idea that you can think on your feet, that you can bounce back, that you have the confidence that, hey, doesn't matter what direction I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna figure it out. And that's what we did. I think it went pretty well. We'll see how it does. My phone's been blowing up, which has been really cool. But that's how it goes. You prepare for something, you plan for something, you think it's gonna go one way, and then it goes a totally different way. You just have to be able to respond. That's what Stoicism is. That was something I said in the interview. I said, Stoicism is the idea that we don't control what happens, but we control how we respond to what happens. I don't know what the host is gonna say. I don't know if they're gonna be hostile or generous. In this case, Carson was doing me a huge favor, and he was really looking out for me. He just didn't like what was in the script, and he was like, I wanna set this up to resonate with the audience better, but I had to roll with that. I Again, I think I did a good job, but I'll let you be the judge.